AFTV Picks, the new exclusive free-to-play betting tool app for football fans everywhere. Every week, test your skills and knowledge against Robbie and AFTV fans and stand to win prizes and cash. And wait for it, it's all free. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily Extra, the show where we dig a bit deeper sometimes into some of the transfers. We're going to be talking tonight about Folarin Balogun. I'm sure you guys out there have seen the rumors flying around about Balogun leaving today, so we're going to talk about that. Also, later on, we got Ali from a Crystal Palace channel coming on. We're going to be talking to him, having a little look at the game, because, of course, we are back in action tomorrow, and we're really looking forward to it. Arsenal taking on Crystal Palace. But joining me, I have James and I also have Cecil. Welcome along, boys. Hope you guys have been very well today. Let's jump straight into it. The rumors, Balogun, linking him with a move away. First of all, the rumors that broke today are linking him with a move to RB Leipzig. Right. The rumors is that he signed a pre-contract agreement, which is something that he can do right now because he's got less than 6 months left on his current Arsenal deal. So he's free in this transfer window to talk to absolutely anybody he wants to talk to, as well as Arsenal. And the rumors are, and he's signed a pre-contract agreement with RB Leipzig. That means that come the summer, he joins RB Leipzig for absolutely nothing. Free, right? Now, that's one rumor. However, I have seen conflicting on that from Fabrizio Romano, we had on the show yesterday and was absolutely brilliant. He put out a tweet saying that RB Leipzig have not made an official bid to sign Balogun as of today. Note that, as of today. So he's not saying that it won't happen. Right? He's not saying it's impossible it will happen, but he's saying RB Leipzig have not made an official bid to sign Balogun as of today. And as I said, there were reports that, linking Balogun with a definite move. That was from Football Insider. They had it as an exclusive. And they said Folarin Balogun has agreed a pre-contract agreement with RB Leipzig. Huge blow to the Gunners as he prepares to leave for Germany on a free. And then remember, there's a lot of players that are making that journey at the moment over to Germany. Jadon Sancho, as we know, has been very successful at Borussia Dortmund. Jude Bellingham left from Birmingham, a hot prospect over here in the UK. He went to Dortmund. Ademola Lookman was at Everton. Now a Leipzig. He went to Leipzig. Remember, Reece Nelson, he was at Hoffenheim for a bit. So there's a lot of players at the moment making that journey over to Germany. The German teams are very smart at the moment. They're seeing what's going on. They're seeing that these guys that are coming through these academies now in England are of the highest quality. And we could end up with a situation, and I remember I spoke about this last week, and this guy's, Mo Guna, is saying it there as well. Balogun, the next Serge Gnabry, another talented youngster leaving the club. What a shame. And if you look at what happened with Serge Gnabry, it was almost a similar circumstance where he wanted to play football. It wasn't that he didn't want to stay at Arsenal. He liked it at Arsenal, but he wanted to start playing week in, week out. And speaking to Fabrizio Romano last night, he's saying the same thing. This guy wants to play week in, week out. He doesn't want to leave Arsenal, but he wants to play. And at the moment, he's down the pecking order. He's behind Aubameyang, Lacazette, Martinelli. He's behind Eddie Nketiah. So, well, you can't really. I'm putting strikers in it. So that's four players four strikers there that he's behind. So his chance of playing is going to be slim at the moment. James, let me start with you. What have you made of the situation? And I know you've got some stats around it as well.
Yeah, it's a really horribly complicated one for the fans. The reason I say that is because we can't, unless you watch the academy really regularly, which some fans do, I'm not disputing that. I don't think you can have that strong an opinion on how Balogun will fare in the first team. We've had some incredible academy products. I want to go into a few of them in a minute, actually, who were tipped for big things and it didn't work. So I can't be as gutted about losing Balogun as I would be if we were losing any regular first teamer right now. But it does seem a shame because you'll always ask the question, what if? While we're on, I mean, the big thing is that you don't want to lose him for free, right? I think if there was a transfer fee involved, he was off for 15, 20 million or whatever, I think fans might stomach that. But I think it's the fact that he's going for free. We've not even given ourselves a chance in that situation. I want to remind the fans and the audience of his profile and a few things we dug into the other day, but I want to bring up another thing as well. But let's just quickly go into it. Won't touch on these for too long. Very quickly, that's his profile again. Anyone who's not familiar with him, pause here and then play after. This is kind of what you're getting. 5'9" striker, right-footed. He's bagged quite a lot of goals. I want to compare sort of his record to Nketiah, something we touched on again the other day. This is, remember, not all under 23s games. This is just for the Premier League 2 and the EFL trophy. Similar amount of appearances, and Nketiah massively outscored him, which I thought was really interesting. But then I also wanted to compare him to another academy striker we have that we seem to be forgetting in Tyrese John Jules. Now he's at Doncaster, nearly escaped my mind for a sec. He's doing all right there. He's got a couple goals. He's getting his appearances. I want to compare his record as well. Very similar. One appearance more for John Jules in the Premier League 2 and the EFL trophy. One goal more, one assist more. Considerably less minutes, but again, minutes per goal, there's not too much in it. So there's another good striker there to look out for, as well as Nikolai Moller, who we signed this summer. Moller, the Swedish guy, I think he's known to be a bit of a target man, very tall, physical presence. And I think it really begs that question for our fans and us talking about it now. Is part of the reason that we're not maybe fighting tooth and nail to keep Balogun the fact that there are so many other really talented young strikers waiting to get their chance that might have a better potential, that in a year or two's time will be where Balogun is and maybe surpass that? So it's worth thinking about. And as I was thinking of that, I wanted to look at other academy products since 2010 that were tipped for big things at Arsenal and basically just get a feel for how have they done since leaving the club. So none of them, no Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe, they're not here. It's just players who have gone on to move on to other things. And I've brought up the list here. Now, this is my personal opinion as to whether they were good enough. I've said yes, no, or 50-50. Everyone will have other opinions. That's fair enough. But the only two in this list who, for me, were definitely good enough were Serge Gnabry and Jack Wilshere. And we all know the only reason Wilshere didn't stay was because of his injuries. Otherwise, he did get the chance. Otherwise, a couple 50-50s. Kieran Gibbs did okay, but has played a lot of his career in the Championship and with West Brom. Chesney, again, a 50-50. Yeah, he's doing brilliantly at Juventus, but was he good enough when he was at the club? Debatable. And Francis Coquelin, who I liked a lot, but I know a lot of other fans weren't as big a fan of. So you look at those names, Chris Willock, Chuba Akpom, even Alex Iwobi, they were tipped for big things that didn't quite happen. So to sort of round this off, I just want to ask the question to you and the audience. Are we worrying too much about this Balogun thing? Because history tells you that it doesn't, the Serge Gnabry situation, it's quite rare. It doesn't always turn out like that.
Yeah. Lloyd Pop, by the way, says, why are young players always going to Germany? Is there any specific reason why? I would sign him to Arsenal, then send him on loan for a year. And what I'd say to that is that the German clubs, and this is what I've been told by somebody, is that the academies, and even doing stuff with my son, and he was at academy. The academies in this country right now, Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, even if you go to clubs like Brighton, they have every facility under the sun. They have the best academies now in the Premier League. It never used to be that case. If you went back about 10, 15 years ago, the best academies were in Europe. You know what I mean? All these players, they were much better technically. That's not the case no more. The academies over here in this country, the academy at Man City, and as I said, even the smaller clubs have got unbelievable academies. They've invested millions into them. So the players, they're producing these great players, great technical players that can play in any league now, right? And obviously, there's a lot of English young talent coming through. So if you're coming through at Man City, your chances of getting into the first team are very slim. So those teams over in Germany, they're very smart. They're looking on it and they're saying to themselves, well, we can get this kid for, like 5-10 million. And in the case of Balogun, probably a free. Let him come over to Germany. Let him perform. We'll get a lot out of him because he's a good player. And then we can sell him back to England, right, for a king's ransom. And you've only got to look at Jadon Sancho, bought from Man City's academy. Remember, Man City did not want to let Jadon Sancho go. They wanted to keep him. But again, it was like, I want first team football, right, is what he said. They couldn't offer him that first team football. He went. Man United in the summer were being told that they're going to have to pay £100 million for Jadon Sancho. So this is why, the clubs in Germany are getting them, because they know they can sell them back and make loads of money. And the guys are going to Germany because they'll go and play. And if you're playing at a very high level, there's a Matundu who's just come back to England. He was playing for Schalke. High level, you know what I mean? You're playing in the Bundesliga on a regular basis. Whereas, the choice of doing that or being stuck in the under 23s for 2-3 years is not the same, is it? So that is the appeal right now. And that is why a lot of players are ending up there. But I think that's a great stat that you just brought up. Wayne Stages he brings up a good one. What happened to LLM? I remember he said, where did he go? I'm not even sure where he is now, but I remember he was like hot prospect. I remember him going on loan to Glasgow Rangers. There's been a few. So maybe we are getting too hot up over it. But my thing is, and I'm going to hand it to Cecil as well. My thing, just before I hand it to Cecil, should I say, is why did we let this run down into the last year? That's the problem now. See, now this guy holds all the power, Balogun and his agent, because he's here saying, now I want to play first team football. You're probably right, James, that he may not be ready yet. We don't see him week in, week out. They do. And like you said, he might not even be better than John Jules, because John Jules is a very good player, right? So they might be saying, well, I know you want to play every week, but we can't guarantee you that right now, because there's just like 3-4 quality players in front of you. You're going to have to wait your time. And he's like, well, all right, I'll go, because he is in the driving seat. If we add him to a contract now, we could have done what a lot of people are suggesting, send him out on loan for a couple of seasons or a season and then bring him back. But it's the situation that we've got ourselves in, isn't it, Cecil?
Yeah, it is. Listen, I've got loads of points on this, Robbie, because I'm a big fan of Balogun. I know people can say, again, I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched him week in, week out in youth games and under 23 games, but I'm a big fan of him, and I really want him to stay. And like you said, I go to academies a lot now, and they get pinched from abroad, mainly because football over here is kind of mainly seen as a business. I remember doing a talk of Man United and them saying they've got a youth team A, youth team B, youth team C. And I said, how is it possible for them to make it if you have that many options? And they were like, well, most of them won't, but we don't want to get rid of the talent. So they basically want to do, they want to harbour them and then sell them on. And I think that's kind of what some of the big clubs do. And unfortunately, we're not really doing it well, because Balogun's coming to an end. They might get him on a free, which would be awful. But I'm sorry, I'm going to keep jumping between points. Also, you brought up a good point about he may not be ready. And as much as I think he has a higher ceiling than Eddie Nketiah, and I think he should be given a chance, not ahead. He should be definitely given a chance. He may not be ready for the Premier League. I don't think he shouldn't be starting in front of anyone, in my opinion. I don't think he's at the age to be starting in front of anyone. And like you said, like Tube Akpom is a great example. Now, when I was playing, he was my inspiration. That is, I wanted to mimic everything. He was so prolific until when he kind of made the transition to the first team, he wasn't the same. And I was like, what happened? You were a god to me. Like, I thought you could do it at any level. And then obviously, don't get me wrong, he still had a great career, but I thought he was going to be the next Henry, if I'm completely honest. But that was probably what Arteta might be seeing. He might be seeing that in Balogun, like, just slow down a little bit. Just wait your turn. Well, no, yeah, wait your turn. But the thing that's annoying me is he needs to be included more, Robbie and James. Like, the FA Cup, he should have at least been in the squad. Like, that really frustrated me. If the club want to keep him, go on.
There's a lot of players in that squad.
I know.
If you think about it, right, he doesn't get in ahead of Aubameyang. He doesn't get in ahead of Lacazette. He doesn't get in ahead of Martinelli. That's 3 already. 3. We haven't even got to Eddie Nketiah yet, but he doesn't get in ahead of those. And this is the problem. You know what I mean? And I understand why these players are impatient. They want to play, and I'd want to play, but it's true what you said about some of these teams stockpile players, and it's really interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I was really interested at the weekend. I was watching the FA Cup and watching some of the various games in the FA Cup, and there was so many players playing that they were like, I think the guy who scored for Derby, ex-Tottenham player, really top talent at Tottenham, but they let him go. There was another guy who scored. He was ex-Man United. There was so many players that were like ex, and they're big clubs as well. And some of them even playing. Some of the players that were playing in some of them non-league games for the non-league clubs like Chorley and that. They're ex, like they've been in big academies. So you think about it. You're in an academy. You want to play. If everybody's talking, if 15 clubs are interested in you, right? You want to play because you're saying to yourself, I don't want us to sit here at Arsenal and not play. And that is the thing, isn't it, James?
Yeah, absolutely. It's that this is so difficult. It's a little bit of a what is the saying, chicken and egg, because you'll say you want to see him in the FA Cup squad, Cecil.
Yeah.
So do I. But do I want, and I'm not saying he's doing this, but think of the concept of maybe he's saying to the club, play me or I'm going. And so that's why we start including him. You don't want that either. You want him to be brought in when Arteta genuinely believes he's ready. So it is a difficult situation. Is it possible that nobody's in the wrong here? Is it possible that Arsenal feel he's not ready and that they're trying to develop him at the right pace, but he's not happy with that and wants to play, which is also fair enough. So he goes. And that's just unfortunate.
And what you said earlier, and the point you made at some of those players that have, been top prospects and haven't made it is so spot on. I mean, I want you to. Can you put that up again?
Yeah, of course.
You put it up again because I found that so interesting. You know what I mean? All of these players, academy players, yeah, and they've all of them. Fair enough, they've gone on to have careers, which is the main thing as a footballer. But like you said, Chuba Akpom had to go to Germany. Sorry, had to go to Greece.
Yeah,
did all right over there in Greece. He's come back now. He's at Nottingham Forest. I think Chris Willock, is he at QPR? I think he's come back. Remember, he went to Benfica.
Yeah, I think he went to West Brom, I think, last season for a bit.
Yeah, he went to Benfica. Didn't work out for him. Out of the two Willock brothers, everybody always said he was the better one.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked out for him. Joe Willock's bided his time. He's been getting first team football. Gnabry, we know. That's the big one that we always know. He went, right? Isaac Hayden, he's had a good career. He's at Newcastle.
Yeah, playing regular Premier League football.
Regular Premier League football, but I don't look at him and think, wow, we really missed a trick. We should have kept Isaac Hayden.
Yeah.
Zalalem, apparently he's playing in America now.
Yeah, he's in Kansas, I think.
When I saw him playing pre-season and that, brilliant little prospect, so skillful, hasn't made it. Chesney, we know, went on at it, but Chesney did figure a lot for Arsenal before he went to Juventus. Iwobi, figured a lot for Arsenal. It's not like he never got a chance to play. He figured a lot, and we got a good fee for him. Yeah. Kieran Gibbs, as you know, he again figured a lot for Arsenal. So did so did Jack Wilshere. But it's a very interesting there because, like you said, it can be that we're thinking to ourselves, that's the hottest player. What we cannot afford to let that player go. But sometimes, you know what I mean? The only thing that in this case, what infuriates me a bit is that he's in the last year.
Yeah.
And he's going to go, he'll walk away for nothing. We got £27 million for Iwobi.
He'll be a good player. He's going to be the Gnabry. It will happen. I can see.
What makes you think that he's going to be the Gnabry? What
honestly, go on.
What's he done extra special? What's he done? He hasn't done more than Nketiah in the under-23s. He hasn't done more than John Jules. He's looked upon as a great prospect, but why do you think he's going to be the next Gnabry?
Again, I'm going to 15 clubs being interested in you. Whether that, like, I'm sure that is true. That is not a normal thing for a young player. I think 15 clubs are interested in you. He's come on, he's scored when he played in the Europa League. Both, like, he's come on, scored both times. People can say it's farmer clubs or whatever, but that's still difficult to do. He's done it with
Eddie done that. Eddie done that when he first came in. Eddie first came in. Remember, he not only did he score the goals that he scored. I remember in that, I think it was that League Cup game, saved us. Dug us out of our hole when we was in, you know what I mean? People were singing his name immediately, saying he should play.
Eddie got a different treatment after that. He got involvement in the first team more opportunities.
Not straight away.
Okay, but
yeah, he's had to be really patient, Eddie. Actually, he's had to wait his time. He's had to play a lot of under 23s, England, England under 18s, whatever. Then he got the move to Leeds, which we thought was going to be a big break for him. It didn't quite work, but it gave him something, that cleaned out. People, by the way, in the comments are mentioning Donald Marlin, Jeffrey Adelaide, Benacer. I'm not going to lie to you. I just missed them. So I could have put them in the list. Yeah, Adelaide's doing pretty good, but I'm not sure you can
Adelaide's at Nice now.
Yeah, but I'm not sure you can 100% say
Leon. But I wouldn't. Do you look on? I mean, I think he's a very, very good player. Do you look on it and think to yourself, "Wow, we really missed out there"? I liked Jeff Adelaide. I thought he was again another really, really skillful player. I think it was injuries more. Again, he had a few problems with injuries. Why? You can't keep every player, can you? That's the problem here.
Yeah. It's true.
Would you not feel away though, boys? Will you not feel away if I really wanted him to be integrated?
Of course, we want him to stay, but I want him to stay. But the situation is the situation, and you can't. Me and Fabrizio Romano, we were talking about this last night.
Yeah,
Fabrizio Romano saying, the kid's saying, "I want to play."
He wants to stay.
He's not saying he's not being nasty in his treatment of Arsenal. He's not saying to Arsenal, "Oh, you know what?" He's not being arrogant or anything like that. He's just saying that I've got a lot of clubs after me right now. That's the fact, and I want to play. I really, really want to play. I want to play, and the manager then has a problem because the manager is saying to him, "Well, I would love you to play as well, but there's people ahead of you right now." That's a fact. That's a fact. When you play for a big club like Arsenal, right, or any other big club, you have to wait your time. There's going to be players ahead of you. They're going to be, and even when you get in, like Eddie's probably thinking, "Oh, well, at last I've made it. I'm a first team player, really." You know what I mean? I might be on the bench sometimes, but but he's still got to wait as well. And every time he comes in, there's pressure on him. And that's what I was saying the first time when we done that show about Balogun. I was saying that it's all right to come in and he's looked brilliant when he's come in and do it in a couple of moments. We've not really seen him we've not seen him play 4, 5, 90 minutes in a row. That's a different pressure. All of a sudden, if you haven't scored in 2 games, everyone's saying get him out. So
it'd be nice to see more. It'd be nice to see more of him. I know. So I want to keep pushing narrow because I do want to. I know you both want to see him stay, but I really would want to see more of him. I think he offers something different to what we have as
You're sorry to cut you there. You're in charge. You're the manager. Tomorrow night's game, Crystal Palace. Right? You're up against Zaha. You're up against one of the mean defense. You're up against a very good team. And Balogun says, "Well, I'd love to start. I want to start that." You're not starting Balogun in that game, are you?
He'd be involved for me, Robbie. He wouldn't start. But I said this in the preview. I did, and you can reference this in the preview that we filmed. I said I want Balogun. James laughed at me, but I said I would put him in the squad. I don't think Pepe and Willian are doing it right now. He wouldn't start.
Wait a minute. Stop saying that because Balogun is a striker who plays down the middle. Stop talking about Willian. Wait a minute. Stop talking about Willian. Stop talking about that's Pepe. That's very easy to say that. Talk about where he plays. He's a striker. Yeah.
He can play on the left as well.
But he's mainly every time he's come on, he's been playing as a striker. Yeah. Now, Is he going to get a game? Is he going to get any minutes tomorrow?
He'll get minutes. I think he'll get minutes. For me,
How?
if I was the manager, you're asking me, remember, if I was the manager, I believe in young talent. He would get minutes. I'm telling you against Palace tomorrow.
Who do you drop?
Eddie.
No, but Eddie's not getting minutes either.
No, he won't get minutes.
When's the last game that Eddie played?
Robbie makes a really good point here because it's not about in what situation tomorrow do you bring Balogun on? If we're winning 1-0, do you want to bring on a youngster to get through that last 10, 20 minutes? I personally don't. If you need a goal, are you bringing off Lacazette or Aubameyang? I don't think you are personally.
I'd bring on a youngster to see out a game. Why would you not bring a youngster to press the ball and see out the game? They should be well enough. When I was his age, I wouldn't know what to do if I was up top to see out a game. Why would you not press the ball down or sit in?
I'm not saying no, hold on. I'm not saying you're not trusting him. Do you trust him more than a Lacazette or an Aubameyang to do it?
I trust him more than an Nketiah. Maybe not an Aubameyang and
you're just jumping the easy way. You're jumping the easy way out now, right? Because Eddie's not even playing at the moment. So first of all, he's going to have to get. These are the three. If they're fit, he's going to have to get past. Yeah, because remember, Martinelli's a guy that can play down the middle as well. A lot of people say we should be playing him down the middle. When Aubameyang got injured, he came in and played down the middle for those 3 games, scored in 2 of them. Yeah, this is the reality of the situation. How is Balogun going to get in that team? You as a manager, you say, right, Aubameyang, sit down today. Lacazette, chill. I'm starting Aubameyang, and we lose to Palace. You get absolutely crucified for not playing. People be like, "What is Arteta gone mad?"
I didn't say start. I said get play. I didn't say
you can't guarantee him a start right now. It's as simple as that.
He should start. I'm just saying I'd have him have more involvement in the first team, in the match team squad. I don't see how that. I understand at times how that couldn't be done, but you must be able to see. I'm not saying him to start, but to get minutes, and he can play out on the left. I know you're not saying playing down, but you're moving the goalpost now. He says if he wants involvement, I'll make him feel like he'll be involved in the first team squad.
Yeah, but
I get what you're saying, and the thing is that he should have had more minutes in the Europa League. We all agree with that. The way we qualified early, didn't we? By game week 4, we were through. So he could have played those last couple games just to see what he's about. You know, I do agree with you, Cecil. He should have had more game time, and there are opportunities to bring him on, especially if Nketiah is struggling. But I get the main point, which is basically saying to him, we cannot start you. We cannot guarantee you the minutes you want guaranteed. So if you want to stay and fight, we can tell you that we're going to do our best to give you as many minutes as possible.
Yeah.
But we cannot make any guarantees. And I don't think any big club, which we profess that we are, I don't think any big club should be able to guarantee minutes to anyone, really.
James, I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. I do. But that's the conversation that needs to be had. We don't know if that conversation has been had. And if that can't be promised, which is fine, then I understand that. But I'm saying, as if I was manager, I would have had that conversation and said, look, I'd had him more involved, shall I say, on the bench. And you can say Eddie's deserves to be there or whatnot. That's up to you. But from what I believe, Balogun deserves to be at least on the bench for some games, the FA Cup at least. I'm not saying he's going to be starting for the Premier League. I understand it's going to take time for him. He has to take his time to wait and be patient. But if he's not happy with that, then what else is there for him to leave? The only thing before I wrap up, before I finish, is the only thing I'm worried about as well is the agent. I hope the agent's not ruining this for him. I think I spoke about this with you before the live, is that the agent saying about 15 clubs, I don't want him to put pressure on Balogun to have bargaining power. Like, this club's offering us this club's offering us this. So I want more. I want to be promised this, because that can ruin a young player's career. That's the only thing that could be a problem in this situation.
Okay, Vede says Adelaide had to compete with Ozil, Cazorla and Ramsey. Now Balogun faces a similar issue. They need patience and can't expect to be played. Earn it. Kingsley Opera says if Balogun or his agent have no patience, he can leave. Doesn't mean he isn't a talented kid, but we have others. And that's kind of the reality of the situation. Is that there's other talented players there. This guy says, should Balogun had started in a nothing game against Rapid Vienna? Yes, I'll probably say yes to. But the problem we got now, and this is not a unique problem to Arsenal. I think it was the other day. It was Man United, Angel Gomez, who's considered a top talent. He's going to leave. Oh, he's left, hasn't he? Yeah. Because he wants to play, and United are saying to him, well, you know what? We got guys like we can't even start
Donny van der Beek.
We can't even start Van der Beek. How are we going to start you? So the guy's like, well, you know what? I'm going to have to leave.
That's fair.
Leicester at the moment, they've got that kid in midfield, the one with the big afro. Oh, what's his name, man?
Chowdhury.
Hamza Chowdhury. Every time I've seen that guy play, I'm like, he's a baller.
He's a good player.
Solid player. Leicester fans love him. But he might leave because he's got to get past Ndidi. He's got to get... There's also another guy there that Leicester have bought before. So now they're talking about possible loan, possible he might even leave. Right? Who's the other player? Harry Winks has been linked with a move away from Tottenham because he's not getting game time because, there's Lo Celso there. There's other guys in that midfield area that are ahead of him. So this is a problem that every football club faces. You can't just because you've got a hot prospect. Remember, that doesn't mean he's ready yet. Hot prospect. The hot prospect, no one's at fault here. The hot prospect wants to play.
Yeah.
Yeah? The hot prospect is, I want to play week in, week out. The manager's like, I like you. You're a good prospect. He ain't ready yet to play week in, week out. And that's what happens, and then something has to give.
Okay, Robbie, James, question. Robbie first. What more could he have done to earn at least being on the bench for the first team? What more could he have done? Anyone got the answer for that? Because I'd love to.
Would you have the answer for what he has done?
He's done what a striker would do, that he can do from coming off the bench.
Against Dundalk.
He's been given.
Yeah, against Dundalk. Like, we don't watch him every week. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm with you. I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose him either. But that's mainly based off his reputation and the fact that we're losing him for free. But I've got no evidence. Like, I don't watch him week in, week out. And the thing that people need to remember is, I think a lot of people had issues with Arteta and his kind of his favouring of senior players. But against Chelsea, when he needed a win more than ever, he played Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli. And remember, Martinelli hadn't been back for long, and he brought him straight back. So I have issues with Arteta and a lot of the decisions he's made and management style. And yeah, there are things I don't like, but I can't actually hold the whole youngsters thing against him because he brought Martinelli back immediately. He played Smith Rowe when he felt he was ready, and Saka's been a staple part of our team since day one, since Arteta first arrived. So do you not think that if he thought Balogun was good enough that he would be playing him? Same with Saliba.
Yeah, but it made...
I can't hear Robbie.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. My fault. The other thing with this situation when it comes to young players is that, I forgot I was going to say that. But I'll say the other situation when it comes to these young players, like somebody pointed out there, Smith Rowe. He's had to go on a couple of loans before he's earned his position. Yeah? And there's many other players who've had to go out on loan. As you said, Tyrese, John Jules.
Yeah.
Banging in the goals for the under-23s out on loan. Out on loan at the moment. There's many a player who have to go out on loan. You've got to bide your time. You've got to wait your time. I can understand why Balogun's impatient. There's 15 clubs after him. Yeah, I get it. But then I can't blame Arteta in this case because, he's got to juggle the whole team. And then how does he fit Balogun in right now? You know what I mean? You can't start Balogun right now. You can't guarantee him, the sort of game time that Fabrizio was saying to me last night. You can't guarantee. And let's be right here as well. Of all clubs, of big clubs in the Premier League, let's give it up for Arsenal. They are one of the few that give young players a chance. Right? Look at that kid at Man City.
Foden.
He'd walk into every team in the Premier League. The guy doesn't start every week, does he?
No.
Doesn't start every week.
But he's involved.
Last season he barely started.
No, but he was always going to be involved in the plans. That Pep has definitely given him 100% given confidence that you're going to be involved. You're going to be involved. You're going to be on the bench. You're going to be involved in the squad. Listen, hear what I'm saying, right? Thank you everyone in the comments as well. It's split. It's a very split decision. It's a very split decision. So it's going around both sides. The only thing I'll be hurt by, someone made a comment earlier saying we should sign him and then send him on loan. Now I think that's also. I know that may not happen, but that would also be a good option unless he wants first.
Sorry, say that again. I missed that.
Someone said in the comments about signing him and then sending him on loan, which I still.
Yeah, but hold on, Cecil. This is what you're not getting. This is where the problem is, right? It's that, and this is where I do fault Arsenal. He's now in the last 6 months of his contract. So why everything's in his court, right? Why should he sign a deal with Arsenal and go on loan to where they want to send him when he's got 15 clubs he can choose where he's going to go, and he can be sitting down and negotiating with those clubs and say, yeah, his agent could be saying, my client wants guaranteed first team football if he comes to join you, because these are the sort of things that are discussed. So why are you going to sign contracts to go out on loan to, with no guarantee that even when you come back, you even get anywhere near the first team? You could be out on loan as a striker. By the time you come back, there's some hot, the other day I see that Arsenal getting linked to this striker, Patson, Daka, and other big strikers all around Europe. We'll be getting to link with them in the summer. And these same fans that are saying, keep Balogun, right? If he's some hot player from Spain or Italy worth £35 million that everybody's talking about as the hottest thing, they're going to want him to come in, not Balogun to come back off the loan. So it's the problem with this is that Arsenal are not calling the shots on this right now. Balogun's agent is calling the shots.
That's their fault.
The last 6 months.
No, look, Cecil, I get it. I do get what you're saying, and I agree. He should have had more minutes this season, especially with the Europa League. That was such a good opportunity. Even Aziz should have. There are a lot of youngsters who we should have seen more of in those, especially in those 2 Europa League games, because we kind of know what we're going to get from Nketiah, and maybe that's where he feels most disappointed. Even whether you think he's better than Nketiah or not, that was an opportunity to see how he fared in the first team. And I think Arteta really got that wrong, like he did with not having Saliba in the squad so we could see the minutes there. I do agree with all that. I just think ultimately making it as a striker at a Premier League level, when was the last time a top 6 club, probably Harry Kane, and he's a gem, he's kind of like a one-off, that clubs produce top strikers and they sort of come through the academy at the top level immediately. It's quite rare.
I hear that.
When you think about it. Who was I? No, what are you going to say, Cecil? Sorry,
I'm just going to close my argument because we're going to keep butting heads all the show. Listen, the only thing that sits funny with me is a player that wants to play for Arsenal. He clearly he's said he wants to play for us. He wants to stay here. Seeing him go, I know you both agree, would hurt me. It would probably hurt you guys as well. Like I said, if we could sign him, this is ideal option. Probably may not be able to happen. Sign him. The 15 clubs that are interested, maybe negotiate a loan. I don't want to give him the power, but negotiate the money not the money he wants, but they have a negotiation where he goes on loan, comes back, and gets the same chances like Eddie Nketiah had when he come back off his loan, and other players that have gone on loan and come back and been patient. But I would just feel silly if we see him leave and him have another successful career at another club, which isn't guaranteed. But I know he wants to play for Arsenal. I would be hurt to see him leave. That's kind of my closing statement. I know you guys.
Listen, we'd all be hurt to see him leave. But sometimes, everybody is jumping on Arteta. Arteta, you should start him. You should play him. And no, it don't work like that. Even you spoke there about Harry Kane, James, yeah? Let's not forget Harry Kane, yeah? And I can tell you this for facts, yeah? Harry Kane, remember, was on loan.
A lot.
He went straight into the Tottenham team. He was on loan, right? And where was he on loan to?
Leicester at one point.
Leicester. They said he weren't good enough. He went on loan somewhere else. They said he weren't good enough. When he came back off that the last loan deal, Tottenham's intention was to sell him. They were to get rid of Harry Kane, yeah? Because they're like, he's not good enough. He ain't going to make it. And what happened, he's got his opportunity because of injury to, what's that striker they had? It was useless, right? And it wasn't Adebayor. They had a striker.
Vincent Janssen, was it?
Janssen, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's after Bale went and they paid all that money and they brought all them players in.
Maybe Soldado, but anyway, they've had a few.
Yeah, that's it. Soldado. It was Soldado. Soldado was injured. Harry Kane came in. Harry Kane done very well in the Europa League. And then when he came in and done very well in the Europa League, scored, played the next one, scored again. And then the fans started saying, give him a chance, give him a chance. And he seized his opportunity, right? But he'd been out on a couple of loan deals. He didn't just jump from the, it's difficult. It's difficult. And none of us want to see our young players. I mean, I love at the moment this Saka, Smith Rowe, these guys from the academy. No one wants to see that. But what do you do when the player's saying, I want to play week in, week out, and you can't guarantee that?
This comment's spot on.
Yeah, that was a good comment. I was reading that as well.
Very true.
For every Gnabry that Arsenal sell, there'll be 10 Chuba Akpoms.
And you know who's a really interesting case study? It's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Because on the one hand, you can say, look how long he's had to wait and how many opportunities and how much game time he's had to have to get to that level. Because a year ago, I thought he was a bang average footballer. It's taken time to sort of find a stride, really. But then you could argue that, well, he actually did have those opportunities. And someone like Balogun maybe will take time. Maybe Nketiah will take time. You got Tammy Abraham as well. Like, he had the same reputation as Balogun.
He did it though, kind of, James. I'm not saying obviously he's not top tier. I'm saying Tammy, he came through and he made a claim.
Yeah, did fine.
Robbie, you've muted yourself again. And I want to say Marcus Rashford as well. Same sort of story. Come through the academy, he came through, he had his opportunity, and he held his place. Like there is.
Hold on. How many loan deals has Tammy Abrahams had?
Okay, fair. Yeah,
he's
fair.
had he's been Swansea, Villa. Yeah. He's had, in the Championship. He didn't just walk straight into the first team.
Rashford did, but no.
Rashford did. Rashford absolutely did. Fair enough.
Tammy, I'll give you that. There is an anomaly. I'm maybe a strikers union. That's what it is. I wouldn't want to see.
No. It's not like. Sorry, I know I've disagreed with quite a few things you said, but it's not just strikers. I completely get where you're coming from. I get what you're saying, but it feels to me like more hindsighty, if that makes sense. You're more saying what we should have done, and I agree with all that. And I agree he should have been on a contract, and I agree he should have been given more opportunities. Just right this second, I also agree with Robbie, and I don't really know where that next opportunity necessarily comes. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of agree with you both, if you get what I mean. Typical sitting on the fence.
Well, we're gonna switch it up a bit now because of course we got a big game tomorrow. We're taking on Crystal Palace, and that is going to be a tough game. We've got a poor record against Palace recently. I think what was the stat on that, James? With Palace?
Three draws and one defeat in our last 4.
Yeah. So Palace is a team that, do a lot of damage. Well, we've got a Palace fan here. We've got Ali from the Pride of South London joining us. Ali, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, mate. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Last time I saw you, I think, was the game Xhaka threw his shirt off and he lost the captaincy. And then DT lost his hat after the game, didn't he?
That wasn't a very good day.
No.
How have Palace been getting on this season?
Look, if you're the board, you're happy because we've got 22 points in the coronavirus times. We're safe. But what the media aren't really picking up is there's a real discontent growing amongst the fans towards Roy Hodgson, similar in the way Newcastle fans are not really enjoying the football under Steve Bruce. I mean, it sort of started after the first lockdown in Project Restart when we lost 8 on the bounce. But it's just the style of play. For example, against Wolves, we went out of the cup. Wolves were favourites. We didn't even have one shot on target. Just at least have a go. So our season, really, we're safe. But under Roy, it's a bit like, you know where you're going. It's like a boring, long car journey. We all know the destination, but there's no fun along the way. We're not allowed to stop off at service stop for a Mac and D's, except some Palace fans would prefer Ronald McDonald as manager at the moment. But that's where we're at.
I thought you lot liked Roy.
Do you know what? I do like Roy, and we respect Roy, and I think it's just really it's the negativity. I mean, when you come up against teams like Aston Villa, you start to see a more progressive style, who we lost to 3-0, and they only had 10 men, for example. I just think it's just, we know his contract's up at the end of the season, which is why the fans are sort of, we're sort of okay with him until the end of the season, but we'd like to see a change, I think, come the summer.
You see, this is why I love to chat to fans that follow their club week in, week out, because you never really hear that, like you said, from mainstream. They love Roy, and you never hear any criticism of him, but you're hearing it there from a Palace fan.
But I have to say, there's a real respect for what he's done for us as a club. Yeah. There's a lot of respect for him as a man. And there are really great things that he does for us. And coming into the game today to talk to you, I'm feeling quite confident, because his record against the bigger clubs is something we'll miss when he goes. I mean, there's actually, I read the other day that he's got a better record against the top six than Arsenal do in the last few years.
Well, there'll be a lot who's got a better record at the top six than us, because ours has been terrible. And our record against you guys has been poor as well. And, you know, one player that always seems to turn up in this game is Zaha. I mean, and he's having a good season this year, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you guys would love him, wouldn't you? The free Zaha movement that some of the Arsenal fans have. You know, free him to where? 2 places above us in the table. No, he's had a great season, Robbie, and that's one thing Roy deserves credit for, is he changed his role this season from the left-hand side and put him back through the middle, which frees him up. He's able to drift left, drift right, and it's much, much harder for defenders to pen him down. Last season, he was sort of shunted out on the left, did 2 or 3 man mark him, routinely assault him. And actually, I talked about Aubameyang in the video I did on Wilf the other week. There's real parallels in the way Arteta uses Aubameyang on the left predominantly. And you see there's been like a role reversal in stats this season, in that Zaha's already got double what he got in the season when he was on the left, and Aubameyang this season on 3. And sometimes I've watched Aubameyang a couple of times this season, and he sort of reminded me of Zaha last season, looking a bit frustrated. Defenders are able to sort of work out more when the passes are coming through. Personally, I would play Aubameyang through the middle. But
you could see that tomorrow. You could see Aubameyang through the middle. It could be Lacazette. Another player who, incidentally, he started to improve from what I've seen. Got off the mark against us after he hadn't scored for ages. Your striker, you know, you paid a lot of money for him, Benteke, but he's been playing better this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, we kind of saw signs of it a little bit last season, but he has got back to form, and I do kind of think, I am wondering if Rob Holding will play. I think that's someone at Benteke could potentially bully a little bit, but he also just sort of protects Wilf a little bit, in that he takes some of the rough challenges away from him, and he brings Wilf into the game. And I still think he needs to bring more goals to his game, but he is someone, he will be starting tomorrow. Absolutely, he's keeping Batshuayi and Jordan Ayew out of the team at the moment.
All right, I know Cecil had a question for you there.
Okay.
Yeah, just 2. I just want 2 questions, because I have some friends that are Palace fans.
Yeah.
The Zaha thing, I'm a big fan of him. I wanted him before we signed Pepe. But some fans have a split opinion of him, that like he only shows up when he wants to. I don't know if you have the same sort of opinion, or you like, no, he's great, like throughout. I just want to know.
No, I think Zaha has had some of the most unfair media treatment of any player within the last 10 years, if I'm honest. The media have that perception. Some fans maybe have that perception. If you ask his managers, for example, I remember Sam Allardyce got asked this question once on Goals on Sunday, and it was a tired thing from some pundits. Oh, he doesn't do it every week, and Allardyce just turned around and went, he does. You've got to think about what he's up against. He's playing in a team for Roy Hodgson, who last season got one of the fewest goals scored in Europe. So it's really, really hard for him. He's turning up more this season because of his role, I think. And me personally, I think he does. I think he does it. He gets unfair criticism overall for me.
Cool. Hopefully, you can give them to us in the window. But and last thing before I'm done after questions. You play 4-4-2. Like, is that the four? I just think that formation is dated. I don't know if it works for you guys. I think I don't know. I don't know what you think. If you think you should change it up or you need to adapt, but I don't know if it's working. Your thoughts?
This is sort of one of the things that Roy needs to be a bit more flexible. I think it works against certain teams, but he needs to change it up. But the reason why I'm hesitant to move from it is because it's allowed Zaha to go in that central role. I think if we went back to 3 in the centre of midfield, Wolf would have to go out wide again. And that's why I'm reluctant to move. But then when you play teams like Chelsea or when we got done 7-0 by Liverpool, what's the point having Wolf that far forward when he's not getting the ball? So against those teams, we probably need to have the 3 central midfielders. I actually did a poll on this on my site, and over 80% of the Palace fans want to go back to the 3 in the middle and get rid of the 4-4-2. Roy Hodgson is a man of habit. He's like your great aunt who gets you the same socks every Christmas. We'll be 4-4-2.
Thank you. That's my question. Thank you for letting me. Cheers, Robbie, as well.
That was a surprise, that 7-0, because you guys have been known for having a pretty mean defense and pretty. You're kind of king of the low blocks. You know what I mean? You like that when you go away from home, low block, and then you catch teams on the counter attack. But there is another player I wanted to ask you about at Palace, I've been very impressed with. I was impressed with him when he's at QPR.
Yes.
You guys have taken a chance with that Eze.
Yeah.
He scored that great goal the other day. That was an unreal goal. I don't know how more people are talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it won't get goal of the month. They'll give it to Harry Kane or someone, but it should be goal of the month.
That's a contender for goal of the season. He run the whole pitch.
Yeah, it's just the way as well. He sort of stopped, looked up, and then just put it in the bottom corner. He is real quality. I'm just so happy we've got him. You know, at Palace, we've had a few players over the years. It's little remembered, but actually we had Ashley Cole on loan from you once, many, many years ago. Not a favourite from Arsenal fans, I know. But then he's sort of given me the same vibe as an Ashley Cole, Zaha. When you just look at him, you think this guy is quality. He's going to go really, really far. I'm just going to enjoy him while we've got him, to be honest. I think he will be with us for a few years, and then someone's going to come and get him.
James, you got a question there?
Sorry?
No, I'm saying, James, you have a question for Ali?
Do forgive, my stream's slightly laggy by a second or two, but nice to meet you, Ali. I mean, I suppose not really necessarily a question, but just sort of an observation with sort of Hodgson and Palace from an outside perspective. I don't watch Palace every week, but my sort of interpretation of Hodgson and the way he's kind of managing the team and the club is he has a way, it kind of works. So he's never really going to take that step to try and, because it's almost you can take a step forward, but you might end up taking 5 back. Is that a fair reflection, do you think? Or do you think he is trying to slowly evolve the team?
I think so. Look, he hasn't had a lot of money. A lot of people talk about Palace and Steve Parish, but we've actually got American investors who are kind of just happy that, like Mike Ashley, to sort of sit, stay up. You know, they're not really investing that much into the club. A little bit like your American investor, perhaps. But so they're very, very happy, I think, just to sit and stay up. We're on 22 points. And I think he's doing the job that his owners want him to do. And you are right. I mean, be careful what you wish for. It's almost like we're in that 8-year Premier League scratch like Charlton were under Alan Curbishley. And what happened when they got rid of Curbishley? I mean, where are Charlton? I mean, where are they these days? So are they still existing? I think
you rubbed that in deliberately. I heard that.
I think you're right. I think they've got a very big decision. Roy's contract's up in the summer, and I don't think they will change for the sake of it. They will be looking and thinking, is there a safe pair of hands to come in, maybe evolve it a bit more, but will keep us up? I mean, Parish has probably been heavily burnt by the Frank de Boer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So come on, guys, let's get some predictions in for tomorrow's game. I'm gonna start with Cecil.
Prediction for tomorrow's game. Do you know what? Quite a safe. I think we're going to win 2-1, in my opinion. We're going to break it down tomorrow, me and James, on our pre-match build-up show. But I think tomorrow's game for us is 1 down the wing against you guys tomorrow. So, but we'll break that down. So, 2-1.
What are you saying? 2-0.
2-1. 2-1.
2-1. James.
I don't think it'll be easy at all. But I've got to back the team, so I'll go for 1-0. But I do think they'll make it really difficult for us. I really do.
Yeah. Ali?
I just think there's a lot riding on this for you. If you win, you could go level with Chelsea, and if you lose, we go above you. And it's a big one for Arteta. And I wouldn't want to face Hodgson with his record against these kind of teams. I'm going to go for a Desmond. I'm going to go 2-2 because I fancy Wilf to get at Holding and Bellerin. He gets a lot of joy.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Cecil. You know, I see a 2-1. I think, listen, you're going to be a very difficult team to break down, just like a bit like when we played Newcastle in the FA Cup, a very well organized, difficult team to break down. Obviously, you've got a lot more quality going forward than Newcastle. You're excellent on the break. But you know what it is? It's the confidence of Arsenal at the moment. I think we're just going to have just too much for you. You know, I really respect Palace as a team. I think they're a very good team. But I just feel that it's the confidence at the moment that's flowing through Arsenal. The fact that Thomas Partey might be back in the team. Even guys like Xhaka at the moment, I think he's pretty confident playing at the moment as well. I think a Partey-Xhaka combination maybe in midfield would be good. Smith Rowe's on form. Yeah, I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal. But Ali, I want to thank you very much for coming onto the show today.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Really appreciate it. I'm going to catch up with you after the game, yeah? So we'll catch up.
Yeah, hopefully.
Win or lose.
I'll be there, mate, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. And before you go there, Ali, tell them about your channel.
Yeah, Pride of South London Fan TV. I launched it in the lockdown, actually, in March. And the first video I did, actually, was about the player you all want, Zaha, about his time at Man United. And just exposing that myth that it was a flop and really going into the way he was mismanaged by David Moyes. Interesting enough, actually, I've never actually told anyone this, but he actually directly messaged me to thank me for it. So it's on the channel, Pride of South London Fan TV. Yeah, look out for that one. Zaha, Man United exposing the myth. Cheers, Robbie.
We're gonna put a link in the description as well to Ali's channel. And as Ali said, I've interviewed him before outside Crystal Palace. Normally, he's got a big smile on his face. Hopefully, when I interview him tomorrow, he won't have a big smile on his face. But he's a great guy. So, Ali, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much,
James. Thank you very much. Also, I want to remind everybody, AFTV Picks. You can do your picks. You've got a chance to win £1,000 tomorrow, right? So make sure you get involved with that. You have to do it before the game starts. You have to be over 18 to enter, but it's free to enter. So get involved with that right now. But thanks to the guys. Thanks to you guys as well for watching. It's been a great debate today about Balogun. Let's hope he stays, and let's hope we can get a win tomorrow. AFTV Picks, the new exclusive free-to-play betting tool app for football fans everywhere. Every week, test your skills and knowledge against Robbie and the AFTV fans and stand to win prizes and cash. And wait for it, it's all free.